In the face of a threat, some men bark and puff their chests. Others shrink and hope the threat passes. Both fall apart when it matters because neither trained. But the man who trains, he's calm under pressure. He's dangerous and in control. In this episode, I'll give you the exact steps to start fighting and to show how it forges the discipline and confidence every man needs. Step by step, we're building stronger men, disciplined, grounded, and dangerous in all the right ways. I'm Seth McGilvery, and this is The Alpha Path. I was 38 when I walked into my first MMA gym. I was big, strong. I'd been lifting weights since my early 20s. On the outside, I looked like a guy who could hold his own. But deep down, I knew better. I knew that if real violence found me, I had zero clue what to do with these muscles I'd built mostly for show. So I did my first boxing class, and it was a glorious 1 hour long reality check. I knew I was bad, but I had no idea how truly terrible I was. I was throwing punches like I was shadow boxing underwater. I gassed out in the warm-up. My footwork was trash. My jab had no snap. And every time I threw my devastating right hand, you know, the one every guy thinks will win a street fight, it landed with the energy of a soft thud. Not a strong thud, a pathetic, whimpering, please tell me I'm not a total wimp thud. Head movement? What head movement? I'm serious, guys. My shoulders were cooked. I couldn't keep my hands up. I looked around and saw teenagers and women and skinny dudes half my size snapping out crisp combinations while I was blinking through blurry vision and trying not to puke on the mats. And the next day, it was time for grappling. Ooh, boy. If I thought boxing was humbling, grappling was an exorcism. 5 minutes on the mat felt like 5 years. I was breathing like I just sprinted uphill in a snowstorm. And my only strategy was be heavy and hope they can't move me. Newsflash, they could. And they did. I got flipped over and folded into positions and tapped more times than I could count. And again, by guys half my size. That day, I learned a crucial truth. Skill beats strength when strength has no training. But I also learned another, more lasting truth, and I've applied it to every other aspect of my life since. You're going to suck at everything you do at first, and then you'll suck less, and then you'll start to get good. And eventually, given enough time, you'll become great. Training to fight teaches you that progress is earned, that confidence is built on competence, that showing up and getting your ass handed to you is the first step to becoming truly dangerous. And that's the real reason we train, because we're not just building skill, we're building a mindset, one that says, I'm not afraid to fail. I'm not afraid to look stupid. I'm not afraid to be humbled if it means I get better. And that's what precision looks like. That's what makes you dangerous in all the right ways. There's this one type of guy you often see on YouTube, loud and cocky and always ready to puff up their chests and bark threats in a parking lot. Come at me, bro. But the second fists fly, they panic, they flail. They throw wild sucker punches they hope will land, and if they miss, they gas out almost immediately and get folded by smaller, quieter men who actually trained. Then there's the other kind, the man who avoids conflict at all costs. He averts his eyes. He stays quiet in the face of threats, not from discipline, but from fear. He folds the second tension rises. He's not loud, but he's not ready either. His silence isn't self-control, it's cowardice. One man is all ego, no ability. The other is all anxiety, no preparation. And they both fall apart when it matters. The first group, fake tough guys, are more likely to escalate for 4 reasons. They have insecurity combined with ego, which leads to overcompensation. Without training, many men overestimate their ability to handle conflict. When their ego is threatened, they react impulsively, often with aggression, because they don't have the skills or confidence to stay calm under pressure. They have no framework for control. Trained fighters learn how to manage adrenaline, regulate their breathing, and respond with composure. Untrained men, by contrast, experience a flood of fear and panic. That fight or flight impulse kicks in, and this leads to irrational, explosive behavior. They're emotionally reactive. Combat sports are a crash course in humility. You lose, often. You get tapped, and you learn. This builds emotional regulation. Untrained men haven't developed that muscle, so their reactions tend to be dictated by raw emotion, anger, fear, or shame. They need to prove themselves. A trained man knows what he can do. He doesn't need to posture or prove anything. But an untrained man often feels the need to perform masculinity under pressure, which can push him to escalate a situation that could have been de-escalated with humility and self-control. Scripture actually calls this kind of man out. Like clouds and wind without rain is a man who boasts of gifts he does not give. Proverbs 25:14. That's the fake tough guy. He's loud and dramatic. He brags about being dangerous, but he's just full of noise with no skill to back it up. The second group, cowardly men, are silent, not out of self-control, but out of fear. These are the men who practice avoidance as a survival strategy. Sometimes this passivity is taught through weak fathers who never modeled courage or overprotective mothers who shielded boys from adversity. Sometimes it's reinforced by a society that says strength is oppressive and compliance is virtue. So men learn, keep your head down, say the safe thing, avoid the fight. But other times, most times, passivity is chosen because looking away feels safer. Maybe if you just don't acknowledge the threat, maybe it'll go away and leave you alone. Maybe the bully will just move on to someone else. Psychologists call it ostrich syndrome, burying your head in the sand and pretending danger isn't there. But avoidance doesn't protect you. It disarms you. It leaves you vulnerable. And worse, it leaves those around you unprotected. Cowardly men cling to the myth that peace is the absence of conflict, when in truth, peace most often requires the presence of courage. Scripture actually describes this kind of man. The sluggard says, "There's a lion outside. I shall be killed in the streets." Proverbs 22:13. This man imagines worst-case scenarios to justify staying passive. He pretends he's just being wise and cautious, but it's fear in disguise. These men aren't cowards because they're helpless, though helpless they may be. They're cowards because they've chosen not to confront fear. They abdicate their responsibility for peace and safety, hoping that stronger men will step in and do it for them. But history teaches a brutal lesson. Those strong men don't always become saviors. Often, they become masters. So here's the truth. Both types of men cause damage. One creates chaos, the other allows it. And here's what the data shows. Untrained men are more likely to lose control in conflict. Combat training builds emotional regulation, and that means less ego and more composure. Martial arts doesn't make you more violent, it actually reduces aggression. That's not an opinion, that's a meta-analysis of 9 major studies. Combat-trained individuals control their emotions better under pressure. Training rewires your self-control. In other words, trained men are less likely to lose control because they've already faced pressure. They've fought their own fear. They know what they're capable of, and they don't need to prove it. So let me ask you, if a man threatened you or your family tomorrow, could you respond with skill? If someone was being hurt in front of you, could you intervene with courage and clarity? Would you? Or would you posture without confidence, hoping you're loud enough to make the other one back down? Or would you freeze? Well, you hope someone else steps up. Because if you don't train to fight, your strength is just theater and your silence is complicity. When it matters most, you'll either overreact or you'll disappear. So what do? Step 1, pick a fighting discipline and commit to 3 months. I recommend Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or Muay Thai. Wrestling or boxing, those are great options too. But find a place near you, sign up, and show up twice a week for 90 days. No skipping, no quitting, no excuses. I already told you, you're gonna suck at first. Be okay with that. I cannot tell you how many times during that first year I wanted to quit and just go back to bodybuilding. It was what I knew and I was good at. And martial arts was hard and I was terrible. But I had a choice. I was gonna wake up in a year, either with a year of training under my belt or wishing I had one. I'd either be proud of the work I put in or I'd know I gave up and took the easier path. One leads to self-respect, the other to regret. Step 2, keep your head down and your mouth shut. This may sound like weird advice, but it matters. If you're already a big dude, like I was, people will assume you've got an ego because most big dudes do. If you're quiet, humble, and ready to learn, you'll earn respect faster than if you walk in acting like you've got something to prove. And if you're out of shape, everybody already knows. Don't try to hide behind false humility or overshare your life story to gain sympathy. That's just another form of pride, drawing attention to yourself in the hope of being affirmed. But no one respects self-pity. You're not there to be coddled. You're there to grow. People respect humility. They respect effort. So stay quiet, soak up the lessons, and keep showing up. That's how you get better, and that's how you earn your place. Step 3, make your training sessions non-negotiable. I say this often because it matters. If it's not in your calendar, it's just not going to happen. You'll get tired. You'll feel discouraged. You'll convince yourself you're too busy or skipping one day won't matter. Maybe you'll even let work be your excuse. Don't give in. Put your training days in your calendar app and protect them. We prioritize what's important to us. So if you say becoming dangerous in all the right ways is important to you, then prove it. Not to me, to yourself. Step 4, keep going. If you keep at it, here's what's going to happen. You're going to lose weight quickly. You're going to get stronger quickly. Your cardio will get better quickly. You're going to make friends. If you show up consistently, even for just a few weeks, people will start to open up to you because they see you're serious. A lot of guys come through the gym and disappear within a week or two. So if you're ignored at first, don't take it personally. Just keep showing up. Give it a little time and you'll earn respect simply by being there and doing the work. You're going to suck a little less every day. And then one day, you won't suck at all. You'll actually be good. And it's not magic. It's not talent. It's cause and effect. You reap what you sow. If you sow discipline and effort into your training, you're going to reap confidence and skill. That's how it works. Always has, always will. 2 Samuel 22:35 says, "He trains my hands for battle. My arms can bend a bow of bronze." What does that mean? God doesn't just call men to be wise. He trains them for combat, physically, spiritually, mentally. He doesn't remove the battle. He prepares you for it. And that's what fighting does. It readies your body, sharpens your mind, and keeps you vigilant. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "Courage is not simply one of the virtues, but the form of every virtue at the testing point. Fighting reveals whether you actually have the courage you think you do, not because you want the fight, but because you've prepared for it." Learning to fight isn't just about self-defense. It's about who you become through the discipline. If you know how to fight, you can afford to choose peace because you've got nothing to prove. If you can handle violence, then you'll stay calm when others panic or lash out. And as a Christian, I've learned this: self-control is a fruit of the Spirit. It's evidence of strength under submission. We're not called to be soft. We're called to be restrained. And you can't restrain what you've never mastered. Jordan Peterson puts it this way: a harmless man is not a good man. A good man is a very dangerous man who has that under voluntary control. So learn how to fight. Learn how to control the body God gave you, not to bully others, but protect and lead them well. Because the world needs more men who are lethal and choose to be gentle because they've trained to be both. So here's what I want from you. Number 1, find a fighting gym near you this week. Jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, boxing, wrestling, doesn't matter. Just start. Number 2, train twice a week for 3 months. Pick the days and lock them in. If this episode lit a fire under you, hit like, hit subscribe, share it with another man who needs this. In the next episode, we're talking about leadership, what it means to carry weight for others when it costs you everything. Because the dangerous man doesn't just stop at skill or strength. He leads, and he leads with resolve. Subscribe to the Alpha Path.